Good morning, welcome to the garden. I wanted to come out this morning and shoot a little bit of a June garden tour for you, give you an update on everything. I moved around a couple containers, so did a few little edits, and there's just so much blooming and growing out here that, yeah, I wanted to just give you the tour, latest update. I just saw a hummingbird on this beautiful salvia, which has really taken off this month. So I thought we'd start here at these containers and then we'll just work our way around the garden and I'll show you what is going on right now. So here is this gorgeous blue salvia. It is looking so stunning and really started filling out and blooming, and the hummingbirds are all over it. I see hummingbirds on this every morning, which is kind of funny because typically I think we all think of, the red flowers for hummingbirds, but this has really been an absolute favorite of them. It really brings them into this garden. And next to it, we have the Suncredible sunflowers, which these were supposed to be Suncredible Saturn, but they're definitely not because they don't have the ring of dark kind of like brown around the center, but they're still really pretty. And just really the salvia has taken over. I think this is Black and Blue is the name of it, or something like that. But it's super fun, just a kind of classic, unbranded salvia. And then we also have a Gara in here, which is about to reflush. There's going to be a bunch of more really pretty white blooms in here, and I think that'll really set off this whole area. Although I did move around the containers a little bit. I popped one of my eggplants here. This is a white knight eggplant, and you can see I'm getting the first itty bitty eggplant on it. A really favorite, super healthy eggplant variety. I really like white knight eggplants, and they make these like long kind of skinny eggplants that are just really delicious. So I'm excited about that. And then we also have over here the sunset coleus, and in here there's also a jigsaw pepper. I think I've been calling these fish peppers, but they're jigsaw peppers, and eucalyptus. And I have a matching container over here, which this one is not as shaded or crowded out by such a big container. And how fun is this? So jigsaw pepper, baby blue eucalyptus, sunset coleus. I started this entire container from seed. All of these were started indoors under grow lights this spring. I started the coleus and the eucalyptus pretty early in the season, and then the jigsaw pepper. And how fun is this container? All foliage, growing in part shade, and I love it. I think it's really beautiful, and there's something super fun about having a container that is grown completely, from seed, all from my own seeds. It took a little bit longer to really fill out and get kind of super full, but now it looks gorgeous. And then we've got, of course, the Nemesia, the Terenia down here. This is a really beautiful plant. This is the avocado. This is one plant, but it has completely taken this form and just wrapped around the containers, and I really love it. I mean, it just is so fun. And then my little pitcher plant is doing well too. This is kind of cool. Just been a little interesting experiment, and I have it in this other basin just so it can get some kind of extra water. Usually there's a little bit more water in there, but I just emptied it out to clean it out. And then I'll just move over here where we replanted. There's some beans coming up. We've got the basils and a whole new succession of green onions growing for the winter, so that is all coming up. And then of course we have tomatoes on the trellis. There's a few cucamelons and then a lot of tomatoes. So this is the Juliet tomatoes here. My Juliet tomatoes again are amazing. They are producing absolutely like crazy. There's a ton of green tomatoes over here on the other side. And I also have some berries crazy cherries in here. And probably the most like prolific crazy tomato plant I have right now are these spoon tomatoes. These tiny little fruit that are ripening. As you can see, I think they're going to be a really fun snack for my daughter. Of course, more Juliets. But they are just a wild plant, like such a vigorous grower. I did not realize how vigorous the spoon tomatoes would be. They are absolutely wild. And then there is the clematis on this arch trellis as well. We've got a coral cream drop coleus, or phlox, not coleus, coral cream drop phlox. This is in a container. And then over here, I'm so excited to see blooming. These are some Sunfinity sunflowers that I started from seed as well. And how, like, is that not the most perfect sunflower you've ever seen? It's just, yeah, so beautiful and classic. And what I love about Sunfinity sunflowers is that they are branching. So we have, you know, we're gonna have lots more blooms on here, which to me is always, a lot of sunflowers are single, which is beautiful too, but I just, with such a small space, the branching, I feel like you get a little bit more like bang for your buck, because I'm gonna get blooms and blooms and blooms throughout the season. And then, so in this bed, we'll just kind of work our way around the garden. I'm getting some more squash. I've harvested a couple, and I've also harvested a couple of cucumbers off my salad bush cucumbers, and there's a bunch more. You can see some cucumbers growing. This one I've been like pruning and trellising and trying to get it up off the ground, because I have been dealing with a lot of like centipedes eating my cucumbers, which I've never had before. But I tried to just basically bring the cucumbers up on these trellises so that we there could be some more airflow, and maybe we would, you know, not have as much pest issue. And I think it's working, but I just have to let the plants kind of reestablish and get themselves reset up. Next to them, we have this really pretty millet. I got these seeds from Botanical Interest, another one that I grew from seed. Starting to get a little bit of pest pressure on it now, but this has been such a fun like shape and texture in the garden. Just really nice to have something a little bit different looking and kind of added to the bed. And then of course we've got the truffle pink gomphrena. I think the millet with the cucumbers and the gomphrena and the squash, it makes a really pretty look. And although the gomphrena isn't looking super healthy, I think we're dealing with some like spider mites and stuff in this bed, so I do need to kind of treat it. But it's still, yeah, it's still beautiful and full of blooms, and just adds to the whole look. And then of course we got the Heliopsis back here that is now in its new container and is so much happier, loving life. And I need to come in and tie up my Black-Eyed Susans, but we're at that time of year. The Black-Eyed Susans have started blooming. This is just like a classic Black-Eyed Susan, nothing fancy about this variety, but a really consistent perennial, and you can see just full of blooms. So we're gonna have a lot of blooms on that. And then, you know, the real star as far as Black-Eyed Susans go, my Indian Summer Black-Eyed Susans are gorgeous. I love these. Such a stunning perennial, big, huge, beautiful plant, and amazing cut flower. I cut some of these and brought them inside, and they're still going strong like a week later. And there's a bunch of echinacea back in here. This is the bed that I kind of redid, so you can see the milkweed is coming up. I need to come in and just pop out a couple leaves of this foxglove. Let me do this right now while I'm here, so that the cleome has a little bit more room to grow. But this should put on some more height here. And there's an aster as well that hopefully will start blooming. And a tomato. This is a better bush tomato growing up and looking very healthy actually. There's the milkweed, swamp milkweed. Foxglove that probably will bloom next year. So we just have to wait on that foxglove. And then my bachelor buttons are kind of fading, but they're still really pretty. These black bachelor buttons, really kind of a cool plant. So I like this bed. I think it's fun. It's got a lot of pretty flowers. It's very perennial, wildness, and beautiful. And next to it, I'm very excited. In this bed, so much good stuff is happening. So we've got the vines here for our honey rock melon and our Jacoby little pumpkin, and I'm growing them out. You can kind of see them going. I'm growing them out the corner of the bed, and they will go into this open space here. But there's lots of flowers. They look really pretty healthy, which is good. We've also got another vine coming out here, and I'm just gonna let it kind of go, train it out. And then next to it, we've got our I think these are the millionaire. It's either fairy tale or millionaire eggplants, but oh my gosh, they're covered in blooms. They've totally started to like do their thing. And then next to them, the Potapino jalapenos, a smaller kind of container style jalapeno, is really putting on lots of fruit. And that is gonna be awesome. a couple more better bush tomatoes. There's actually a little basil in there too, and a lantana actually in this bed, and then some zinnias. I mean, this bed for so long sat here and kind of looked like a little ugly and a little boring, and now all of a sudden it's so full. It's kind of amazing. Just shows you everything you can grow in a 2x4 raised bed. Like, awesome. I love it. I'm really hoping that I can get some pumpkins off this vine, and hopefully I can not step on it and let it just grow out and be really pretty and whimsical. I did rearrange some of the containers. We've got some of our angelonias, this really pretty lemon and pink dahlia. The angelonia is gorgeous. More gomphrena, some blue scavola, more angelonia. And then you will remember that I had a whole big like window box of zinnias. I actually moved that. So I liked the look of it, but the garden was feeling super full and kind of tight. And I had this space over in the Unheated Greenhouse space, and I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna move the zinnias over there because my little tomato window box was not doing well. So I pulled that out, and I kind of made myself a little second story cut flower garden over here. We've got the zinnias now, and this is a self-watering window box. So I think it'll do better over in this corner too. And I can cut off these zinnias and just enjoy them. There's a black-eyed Susan vine that's growing up here. Another Sunfinity sunflower. Let me give you an update on the butterfly bush. The Pugster Blue butterfly bush is just gorgeous. She is lovely. Absolutely love it. And then our pumpkin on a stick eggplant is starting to put some flowers on. So hopefully we'll have some of our mini pumpkins growing here. I'm very excited to see how this one does. I'm surprised it's getting pretty tall, and I'm kind of surprised by that, but it's beautiful. And then we've got this is the 8-ball squash, not yet really putting on anything other than male flowers, so I'm not quite sure. But yeah, more eggplants back here. Pretty soon I'm going to be absolutely inundated with eggplants, which I'm okay with. I do need to take out a couple branches here, probably so that my gomphrena and stuff can get some sun. I may have to move that pot. More of the coral cream drop phlox, a little straw flower, my Russian sage, my parsley that has just started to flower, and I'm just letting it flower and enjoying that. And it looks kind of wild and wonderful over here, but I like it. It's very full and very pretty. And then we've got the grow bags growing in here. So it is actually later in the day. I had to come back out here. We just had a really brief little rainstorm. I think we're getting more rain tonight, but I wanted to finish off the tour for you, show you the rest of the garden over here and what we've got going. So I was just gonna show you the herb container. This is the herb container that I started probably in like March. It's still looking beautiful. The thyme, this is the most gorgeous lemon thyme, and it just smells so incredible. Sage is really doing well. That has been a highlight this year. And then I've got a grow bag that's got a couple peppers. I think there's a habanada pepper and a banana pepper in here. And then these radio mix cosmos, which are beautiful. They're really fun. I love the orange. Not all oranges are the same. And I think this is a really pretty color orange. So, and then this is, I think this is maybe a chocolate cosmo. We'll see if it starts blooming. This one has just been growing up, and I'm just kind of waiting on that. And then over here, we've just got, this is a little bit of the plant kind of hospital. So we've got a couple of the rose plants, and then over here, fun thing. So this is my peanuts, and they are really not doing much. And then I ended up rearranging these containers a little bit, but we've got some really beautiful petunias, these gorgeous black petunias, and these headliner petunias, which are absolutely stunning, and a little lantana. And then my cottage container is, everything just got rained on, so it's not, now of course it's not looking its very best, but the Gara is about to start really blooming again. I'm excited for that. And we've got some Angelonia in here, and these, oh, I forget the name of these. These are so sweet. One of my favorites this year, along with the Scavola, more at the Angelonia. It's just really beautiful. And of course the phlox, again, just got rained on, but these coral cream drop phlox are absolutely gorgeous. I like love this color. And phlox are so funny, they smell really good. Phlox growing in your garden and you have not smelled them, they have like such a delicious smell, which I never realized. I grew them for like 2 or 3 years and never realized that they smell so good, but they smell absolutely incredible. And then down here we've got some anise hyssop that's beautiful right now. This will bloom all the way through frost. It's such a gorgeous plant. This is Mango Tango. It's really fun. And a really beautiful echinacea. I love plants that have this, like, I call it like a cupcake kind of look. They're just super fluffy like that. I think it's such a pretty style that, you know, the zinnias that look like this, and then this echinacea is beautiful. And I actually just harvested, I think, the last of my blueberries off my blueberry bush, but it has just been actually producing quite a few little blueberries. And then we have the grow bag with the ground cherries, which I can see my first couple ground cherry starting to dry out. So that means that they will be falling down soon. And this plant is just loaded. It is huge. It is taller than I am, and so happy in the grow bag. And mixed in and around it, we've got some of these little cucamelons, which I am planning on doing some cucamelon pickles. I've heard that they're really good as pickles, and of course they just be so cute. So I'm gonna give that a try. I will take you along with me if I can get them enough. I'm like waiting until I get enough that I can just harvest maybe just even a handful and try to pickle them. We'll see how it goes, just like a refrigerator pickle. But yeah, this ground cherry is like loaded, about to have a ton of fruit on it, which is pretty exciting. And over here, the container pond is doing well. So we've got lots of lily pads growing up. I absolutely love the lily pads. They are just so sweet and fun, and the hornwort. And then I haven't put another bog plant in here because I had so much pest pressure. So I'm just kind of waiting to see, but I do really still just like it, even with just the lily pad look. I think it's fun. And then this bed here is actually becoming one of my favorites as well. I need to prune out a few of the suckers from the crepe myrtle, but the black-eyed Susan is starting to bloom. We've got some echinaceas in here. We've got this really pretty yellow milkweed, and then all of a sudden the coleus and the sweet potato vine are all starting to really bloom. I did pop in Super Tunia honey, which I should deadhead. It's not getting enough sun right here, so I don't know if it's gonna completely make it, but it's still pretty for right now. And I really just, yeah, I love this little area. It's beautiful. And then we've got the bed with the beans and everything like that over here. Such a fun space. I always like this area of the garden. Once I can get it, if I get it set, and it just always looks so pretty. I think that is just about everything in the July garden. So many flowers, everything is blooming. Still waiting on most of the harvesting, but hopefully we'll have some videos with some good harvests coming up soon. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.